This job is simply the most amazing one in the world. Imagine the next fish swimming freely in the sea. Suddenly, two villains lured them away with bait. Play a seesaw battle with a carbon fiber fishing rod in your hand. After more than an hour of intense competition, successfully boarded the ship and obtained the spoils. This huge fellow is 2 and 8 meters long. It has actually become a hot commodity among middlemen. Someone is willing to offer $10,980 to buy it. It's really incredible. Isn't this just like Wong Ba falling in love with mung beans? Who would refuse such a job? With the arrival of a new day, Paul from the Tuna Network account brought bad news. His beloved father is about to pass away. Originally, Paul thought that after a year of treatment, father's condition will improve. However, the news from his elder brother last night, but it shattered his hope. The father who led him into this line of work. In the end, he or she still passed away. Greg from the Fishing Mania learned the sad news of Paul. He left his hometown and came here to make a living. I never expected to suffer such a blow. Taylor and OTT soon heard about it too. Although I can't fully understand Paul's feelings, but I still feel deeply sad for him. The medical expenses earned by leaving one's hometown. In the end, it was of no avail. Greg led the crew to start fishing. Hope to catch tuna as soon as possible, so as to return to visit one's father as soon as possible. The two crew members on the hot tuna, looking at the seabirds on the sea surface, realized that this is an excellent fishing spot. As long as signs of life are found on the sea, there's an 80% probability that tuna will appear. However, surprisingly, their detector didn't go off. Instead, the detector on Greg's side rang. This situation is rather strange. Suddenly, the fishing rod in front of Jarrett bent, and there are two poles. Even if there are some surprises, the impact is not significant. Suddenly, the fishing line of one of the rods broke suddenly. Fortunately, there is still a fish in hand. Move the pole behind the stern. Jarrett became excited as well, especially the tactile sensation coming from a hand. The one who takes the bait must be a big fish. It seems that the fish is not running away. Instead, he was eating leisurely. But when you think about it, it makes sense. Tuna has almost no resistance to bluefish. OTT gazed at the scene before him. This excellent location was informed to everyone. Greg set off immediately upon hearing this. Look back at the hot tuna again. At this time, the schools of blue fish on the sea surface had dispersed. Only the tuna is leaping on the water surface. Greg listened to OTT's description of a lively scene. Can't help feeling a headache. Why did I wait the whole morning but still get nothing? Fortunately, there are only 4 miles left to OTT. Look back at Jarrett, who is fishing again. The situation here remains the same. Jarrett is still struggling to pull the tuna. However, at this time, the blue fish appeared again. It undoubtedly adds difficulty to Jarrett. Alas, it seems that there are ships ahead of Jarrett. It turned out that Greg came by boat. He observed the situation of the sea surface, suddenly become extremely excited. Unexpectedly, OTT's fish were actually running away, and the scene was indeed very lively. Greg immediately directed everyone to move. Be sure to seize this rare opportunity. After all, such a scene is not common. Suddenly, their fishing rods bent. A tuna bit the hook, and it's 2. It seems that there is indeed an abundance of tuna here. Once hooked, they come in pairs. Everyone quickly ran onto the deck. Start fighting with the tuna. Their luck is really good. As soon as we arrived here, a fish took the bait. And there was also good news from OTT's side. The tuna has been pulled to the surface of the sea and quickly approached the side of the ship. OTT picked up the harpoon beside him, stabbed the tuna resolutely. Seeing this, Jalater picked up the fishtail hook beside him. Control the tuna that is still struggling, and tie it firmly with a rope. OTT's gaze fell on the tuna at the stern of the boat. Excitedly find Greg to show off. After OTT pulled the tuna onto the boat, the fish was measured to be 107 inches long. There is no doubt that this is the biggest fish they have caught. As for how much it can eventually be sold for, I have no idea. Look at Greg beside again. Villain is still trying hard, but the tuna was not caught. But good news followed. The tuna has floated to the surface of the sea. The figures of the fish could be clearly seen from the boat. Dirty quickly picked up the harpoon. Aiming at the target, he plunged down suddenly. After successfully hitting the target, quickly control the fish beside the boat and fix it firmly with a rope. The three couldn't wait to pull the fish onto the deck. The length of the tuna was measured to be 95 inches. Night fell, and the hot tuna returned to the port. The huge fish they will catch. Send it to the acquirer. After removing the useless parts, the tuna still weighs as much as 493 pounds. The weight corresponding to this body length is slightly insufficient. But if the quality of the fish meat is excellent, one can make a lot of money. The buyer looked at the fish in front of him. It is believed that the tail meat has a bright color. The fat content is slightly low, but the core part looks fine. The final unit price is $16. It enabled them to earn $7,888. Meanwhile, the members of the rocket, I have also gone fishing at sea, although the departure time was relatively late. Zach, however, firmly believes that there will be gains tonight. However, at this moment, there is inevitably some torment in my heart. Others are already enjoying delicious food, but I myself am still drifting on the sea. Suddenly, the fishing rod in front of me bent sharply. Apparently, a tuna bit the hook. Zach grabbed it immediately. Start fighting the tuna. Why not let the main angler Daniel go? Suddenly, he felt the hooked fish. It seems not to be tuna. At this moment, the only option is to pull the fish out first before making a decision. As ripples spread on the water surface, a fish emerged. The originally cheerful expressions of several people. Instantly, he became frowning. It turned out that the one who took the hook was actually a shark. The luck is really bad. Meanwhile, the fishing mania also arrived at the buyer's place. As they delivered the fish up, the useless parts are removed quickly. Finally, this fish weighed 411 pounds. This weight made several people extremely delighted. As long as the quality of this fish is superior, they are sure to make a fortune. The buyer examined the fish before him. It feels almost the same as Otto's. The quality is not top-notch, but the core part is still good. It can offer a price of $16 per pound. Let them earn $6,576. At this time, several people from the Tuna Network account. Preparations before work are underway. Dave decided today, go fishing in areas with higher water temperatures. After all, tuna prefers such waters. Paul is eager to catch a fish at the moment. It would be best if it were a big fish over 100 inches. The tuna tail cut in this way. Only then will it appear huge. As the sun rises slowly, Bobby was in a rather low mood. However, the season has been going on for a long time, but I only caught 2 tunas myself. To be honest, I was a little surprised. Bobby was so angry that he began to cough. Suddenly, he discovered the detector in front of him. The figure of the tuna emerged. The fishing rod also showed obvious movements. Several people were immediately extremely excited. Braden quickly stepped forward and grasped the fishing rod. Start to recycle the fishing line that has been pulled away. Bobby looked at Braden, who was working hard. Hope he can make more efforts. After all, Bobby's illness is quite serious. As long as tuna is caught, then one can return home immediately to recuperate. Braden is indeed doing his best. The movements in the hand never stopped for a moment. However, his physical strength is approaching its limit. Seeing this, Bobby had no choice but to take over. But just at this moment, he discovered the tuna seems to have run away. As the fishing line was easily retracted, confirmed that the tuna has indeed run away. To be honest, this luck is a bit bad. Paul from the Tuna Network. After learning about Bobby's situation, he took out his secret weapon. That is the special fish hook in the hand. As long as the tuna bites the hook, make sure it has nowhere to escape. Taylor of the Windmill. In the competitions of the past few years, it has consistently ranked among the top. But this season is quite different. It has now dropped to the bottom. This gave Taylor a big headache. Why can't I always find tuna? Just when he was frowning, The detector in front of us suddenly beeped. Taylor was startled, instantly became serious. Keep a close eye on the fishing rod at the stern. The fishing line flew out rapidly in front of his eyes, after passing its own coordinates. Get ready to fight the tuna immediately. Taylor is really kind-hearted, even if a fierce battle with tuna is about to take place. And didn't forget to inform others of this fishing spot. Taylor moved the fishing rod behind the stern. Marissa also officially joined the battle. After several minutes of intense pulling, it was found that the strength of this fish was extremely powerful. The size of tuna seems rather large, but Marissa doesn't think these are problems. Let the tuna swim for a while first, to consume the physical strength of this fish. Although Marissa pulled the fish a few meters closer, but most of her physical strength has also been exhausted. Seeing this, Taylor quickly took over. After pulling for a while, he found that the tuna was only 30 meters away from him. However, this tiny gap, it actually took an hour. I didn't expect this fish to be so strong. Their contest, it attracted the attention of the small shell number. Witness Taylor's busy figure. They decided to look for fishing spots nearby. Wait patiently for the beloved tuna to show up. Let's take a look at the situation on Taylor's side again. Marissa found after checking the detector. This tuna is still some distance away. It seems that Taylor's skills still need to be improved. Sure enough, after 1 hour and 40 minutes of hard work, Taylor just pulled the tuna to the side of the boat. I really didn't expect this fish to be so tenacious. Facing the tuna that is still struggling, Taylor quickly picked up the harpoon. Stand aside and aim. Suddenly stab at the target. However, it missed. Instead, it allowed the tuna to escape. One has to look for the target again. It has been 2 hours like this. Fortunately, the efforts eventually paid off. Taylor clenched the harpoon again. Aim at the tuna and stab it fiercely. After hooking the fishtail, Marissa quickly took the rope and tied it tightly. When the tuna cools down, the two worked together to pull him onto the deck. Looking at this huge fish, it was measured that the tuna was as long as 111 inches. It is indeed a huge fat fish. When they returned to the port, after a brief conversation with the acquirer, then the tuna was sent over quickly. After removing the useless parts, the tuna weighs only 732 pounds left. Wow, this fish is so heavy. As long as the quality is not too bad, this won't earn tens of thousands of dollars. The buyer examined the fish before him. I sighed inwardly that the two of them were extremely lucky. Marbled patterns are faintly visible in the meat. The core part is also quite excellent. It's just a little more fat. The final price is $15 per pound. Even so, it still earned $10,980. Several people from the Tuna Network, still immersed in a sad atmosphere. Paul's depression is obvious. It continuously influences the other two. The night passed slowly. Dave feels a bit unlucky, so they went to Greg and OTT, looking forward to good news. However, there was no good news for them. On the contrary, it's on my own side. A glimmer of good luck has arrived. The detector in front of us has changed. Nick, OTT, and Greg, they have also all seen a turning point. This situation is rather strange. While everyone was waiting anxiously, the fishing rod on Dave's boat moved. Sandro was instantly excited. Step forward immediately and steady the fishing rod. Start fighting with the tuna. According to the feedback from the fishing rod, this tuna is huge in size. It is about 100 inches. After more than 10 minutes of intense confrontation, Sandro actually pulled the fish up more than 20 meters. Tuna also travels at a speed of 2 or 3 meters per minute. Approach quickly towards the sea surface. When its figure appears, everyone became more and more excited. Paul hurriedly grabbed the harpoon beside him and stabbed it down rapidly. Sandro picked up the fishtail hook. Immediately, he stepped forward to control the tuna. Dave quickly tied it up firmly with a rope. They succeeded in catching this fish. The three of them will be able to return home soon. After Dave spread the news, OTT and Nick felt frustrated. I didn't expect to have gained so soon. While waiting for the tuna to cool down, They thought of Paul's father again. But now is not the time to miss. After pulling the tuna onto the ship, it was measured immediately. It was found that this fish was as long as 93 inches. Although Sandro misestimated the size, but this didn't cause too much influence. This fish is still very large. When they return to the port, deliver the fish to the buyer promptly. Paul asked Scott for the fishtail. I hope it can serve as a memorial to my father, as he cut out the core part and removed the useless parts. Finally, this fish weighed 337 pounds. Next comes the inspection of the fish meat. The buyer examined the fish before him. It is considered to have bright colors and rich fat. The core part is also very beautiful. Be able to offer a unit price of $20. If the weight of the tuna were a little higher, perhaps the profit is more than $6,740. You can definitely get a reward of tens of thousands. Otherwise, the championship wouldn't have been taken away by the windmill. It dropped to the second place. That's all for this episode. Give it a thumbs up, and let's look forward to the next wonderful episode together.